Yeah, you rocking with your boy TheCzarr, all rights reserved. We're back for the part 4, and I'm here with these ladies, these young, aspiring, lovely ladies here to tell their plight and the situation dealing with Tentacion. I'm gonna give people time to kind of get a general understanding on what's going on, but first we're gonna discuss some more factors. I now understand a lot of what it is that I've been saying in total, in full. I now think that a little bit throughout this that I want to see them give their thoughts on certain situations. One thing I do know to be true is notifications and things, and there's some funny stuff happening with YouTube that I don't fully get right now, but I do. So it's a double-edged sword. I do and I don't. But ultimately, we ain't worried about that. Shout to everybody coming in. Shout to everybody logging on, checking things out. There are a couple things that we realized, and again, I go off the dome, just like I do with freestyle. So I'll write them as we know. So we discussed investigators, and we spoke on how they were at certain sections and how they may have participated in the parties that we discussed. We also spoke about how suspects were possibly a part of the parties, and we have a manager, and then we have so-called people who portray themselves as pimping in some lane. We also have the fact that X may have showed up to these things, but he wasn't participating in a lot of what was going on, which means he had his own individual free spirit. This is something we noted. I also want to say that there's 2 more angles I wanted to address, and it has to do with YouTubers directly. And then I'm not going to get into the direct relative sector just because I don't know much about them, just about their interaction and people that were present during this scenario. What's up, everybody else? I also have talked about, we spoke on different rituals that could have been occurring in oaths. So I'll put that in the same category. So we have rituals and oaths that were occurring. We spoke about this openly. So looking at this picture, I want to touch on investigators to finish it up. We're going to go in with the YouTube conversation. I also want to get into occurrences. So on this one, we're going to talk about occurrences around it, and we're going to talk about events leading up. And I'm honestly not done speaking about the girls. So those are the ones I'm going to cover on this one because everything else has been pretty much covered in full. I think we know that there was excess things going on where these rituals and things. See, and that's the thing. All of these connections happen at one general spot, and that's about the sort of parties that were going on. Even the same very parties I implicated being local to my area that I had listed. There's another sector I also want to go into, and it's going to be about you, Queen Prodigy, and your premonitions and any energy frequencies you may have in your talent realized were off at certain times. So I have here circled the many different things that I want to address. And where I want to start is now, as far as the girls, okay, and this is to Zabella, then I'm gonna come to you, Queen Prodigy. And you know, I want you guys to start off. What is your cash apps, please?
Angel Face 777.
Queen.
All right, it is Queen Prodigy 369, and you can also follow that on Instagram. Queen Prodigy on YouTube as well, and Twitter.
Good idea, Zabella. What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is ZabellaTentacion, and my Twitter is Maddie Eats Your Heart.
Now, guys, I want you to know that you're going to be in for another classic. We've spoken, and I think it's going to be even better because we're adding a 4th out of us three, including myself, we're adding a fourth level of knowledge to this situation. She will be on tomorrow with us. It'll be at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We'll be rocking with you for a good amount of time, and that will be to finish the week up. Now, after that, I'll probably get back to the uploads and conference with them and figure out another time I could get lives together. That's my goal. But as far as we're going on now, we're talking about girls, the girls at these parties. So, Zabella, we spoke in detail about a lot of different things that were going on, and I see you were far out of the norm of the normal average girl that would show up to these parties. Is there a certain way that they prospect for these girls? Grab a drink movement. Something. Queen, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It looks like she might be muted.
Okay. I don't.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Zabella, with these girls at these parties, is there a certain way that they're prospected?
Basically, through the internet. They just usually go to the beach or on the internet and search for girls that are looking for work, and some willingly want to do porn, and some are sometimes forced into it. And most girls, they usually pick them up from strip clubs and stuff like that too.
Okay, so when we say forced into this, there is this forced decision occurring between them going to meet this girl and this girl going back to the party, or once they get to the party?
Once they get to the party.
So they'll basically con them and sweet talk them in any way to get them to a spot. Then that's when the magic occurs of forcefulness.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if not, they blackmail you. They like to blackmail a lot. That's one thing I've learned. Like living with them and being with them, they'll blackmail anybody.
And what is this level of blackmail?
Money, pictures, death threats.
Well,
lies.
Well, all I can say is with the level of blackmail I have on a lot of people, they might want to shut up. They might want to act like they're ghosts just floating along, and they don't know
let
nothing.
Them keep talking, because they keep forgetting they keep forgetting that their IP address is traceable.
Well, even with that, even say I wanted to spare that. I know if certain people seen that picture or certain videos, being hard wouldn't even be a question. There's no man on this earth that will allow you to slander them, not even in the community that participates in acts of claiming likeness to a man. If you're cursing them out using a specific F word and different things about them, they would destroy you just for you knowing you do the same thing.
It's deep. That's why they keep using that word. Usually when people use a certain word, it's because they're that word.
So let me ask you this too, and I fully agree with you. Where does this blackmail gain power to a girl they just meet?
Basically, they have their nudes. They've already slept with them, most likely. Most girls are from the inside, or girls they've already known who they were waiting for them to turn 18, and it's just embarrassing because it's like, I lived with these people and I'm finding this out now after my ex-boyfriend's gone. So it's just like, imagine if I would have stayed there longer, like what the hell would have happened to me or anyone around me? Because my best friend already got her ass beat staying there.
Well, okay, that's understood, but can you elaborate on the part you said waiting for them to turn 18?
Because remember, he's a manager. He has his own company. He does porn. So he has two companies. So
Got
it's
you.
like if the girls are underage, he will be out of business. And you know this. None of us can be underage. We will let me put it this way. So like that is a short explanation. To be in his house, you have to be 18 or up.
Has there ever been a time where they've helped themselves to someone that was not 18?
Yes, my best friend actually.
So how old was she?
She was 17.
And was this a group effort against her?
It was two people. I really want to mention them, but I have respect for one of them because of stuff I've been through with that person.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. We'll stop there. So being that these guys were they knowledgeable she was not 18?
No, I didn't even know either. Because it's like we grew up together, and the whole time I'm thinking she's a year younger than me. I'm 19 at the time. I just turned 19, so I'm thinking she's 18.
Okay, they just got saved. They just got saved. Okay, next to the next part of this. Was there any manager or person that is over age you've ever seen out with a minor?
No, not that I know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm still in contact with her actually. They got arrested for human trafficking.
Is this recently?
No, this is when I first got into the group. Actually, you made me remember that. Actually, this girl, I became really close with her. I actually lived with her and everything after X, and they had a big lawsuit going on over human trafficking because the girl was 16 years old.
Yes, I'm roughly aware of this. I do not have that proof in my disposal yet. I should shortly. I have good people working with me that don't have to have a title that have seen this, but we are knowledgeable about this. Now, also, someone says, have you showed me the involvement with X, the photos or a video or some sort of involvement? But here's what I want to note to that question. You need to understand this, that you're asking for her direct proof to X, but we're not even talking in a direct nature of X, yet her appearance, her presence at an area that has been co-signed prior to X's death by interaction with someone else who has made contact to figure something out for someone who is aware of X before he died. So don't worry about that piece. Just pay attention to the questions. Because when we start talking stuff about minors, other people, and you're asking me, oh, where's the proof? When there's minors involved, I think something's wrong with you. So if you don't want to be seen that way, I just want you to keep in mind that if you have a child, a daughter, and you've seen her being abused and she was a minor, how you would feel. It's not about credible anymore. If you've been to, this is the fourth live. If you were on the other first and second live, credibility was established. Credibility was established, and I'll tell you why. It's because she off-brand co-signed things I know behind the scene without having been there, but she still talked about it in an off-brand manner, which tells me she has to have some type of inside knowledge for her to know what I know. That's all I can say about that. And that's why it was so important to keep up with the lives, because credibility was established, part 1 and part 2. Part 3, we delved into the critical questions about the credibility established. On this one, we're covering the basis. And on tomorrow's one, we're going to dip back into this, but get stronger perspectives. Also on this one, I'm going to allow them to speak about themselves and how they fit into the nature of what it is that we've been addressing here. But let me go on and get to the point. Now, I understand you were speaking about the minor angle and stuff, and that bothers me. I get now the tool and the device used to lure and then sustain, let's say it for a better use of their product as they're finding people, that it's the blackmail and the abuse and the different levels of attacking a person's character, when in truthfulness, their character is dirt of it all. They're the worst character within the scenario, but they're creating situations to endanger and force people into a position. Now, earlier I asked, how is this possible? Well, if there's an investigator that is participating in this same thing, that would be the possibility. Because what I'm doing is I'm exposing this one investigator who's not giving a real name as someone who is of prestige and power in law, and I'm scaring them into silence because they then believe that they have no avenue or way to turn without me finding out they did it, because I have an investigator who's dirty. It is a synonymous factor that's used to increase the contention of a situation while just assassinating the character of an individual. It is the way to enslave and call it free will to be enslaved. You get how it works? I'm well aware of what's going on. I'm well aware. I'm just putting it out there to understand it. It is how because see, if I do it that way, I don't only enslave you in a place to stay because you may not have nowhere to go, but I enslave your mind in thinking that you have nowhere to turn.
Yeah, that's basically what happened to me.
I know. Trust me. Don't feel bad. I know. The Czar knows. I know. And I see the characteristic of who's doing it, whether they want to speak up or show it. I see you. Because you want to know something about a man? A man can look you in your eyes and see you're a flexible male. It doesn't matter if you're in a picture, posing, mugging. I see it. Because you can't hide what you really are. That's the difference. I can see it. I can see it in what you say. I can see it in what type of pictures you take. I see it. You can't, when you're not really a man, you can't hide it. And having a bunch of people around you doesn't block it from not being seen. We see you.
Not even to cover up and fake that you are.
We see you.
You are.
We see it. And you can't hide it. Matter of fact, you and I'm sorry, ladies, let me talk directly to the trash that we know's trash that hides behind the exposure thing of having connections to avoid this, which it seems to be having pigs in your house. Okay. You can't hide what you are.
You want to talk about pigs? Okay. So when I moved out of B's house and I went to S's house, bro.
Yeah, I'm listening.
The house was a complete pigsty. I'm talking about cups in every room, on every floor. They had a puppy there. A brand new puppy smoking cigarettes around him. I had to kidnap a freaking dog from these people and raise it because they were nearly killing it. This dog had breathing problems at 3 months.
So where's my animal activist at? Where's my animal activist at? You can link up with the Czar. Hit me up. You know, @ capital ALL capital CZARR. Hit me up and we could chat.
And they were threatening me because I took the dog, and I'm just like, how are you threatening me when you guys can't even take care of yourselves? You can't even take care of me. This is when I was pregnant at the time. This is when I was pregnant too. So they left me there with the dog that had lung problems. They never left me with food, and I had to clean their whole house every day.
Now, is this the pregnancy you're alleging to be by a certain individual?
Yes, it is actually. That's why they made me sign that contract.
Okay. So was he around when this pregnancy was happening?
He was in jail. This is when he first got arrested.
Okay.
Actually.
So he wasn't even aware this was happening.
He knew.
He knew of it, but he wasn't in a position to take action.
He couldn't do anything. Geneva, I mean, all of them were lying about him beating that girl. All of them.
You were co-signed that there was a lie about that by another affiliate that is closer than you were?
Was that person around me?
No. I'm asking you, was there a cosign by someone closer to him than you were at one point in time?
A couple people. Actually, the girl that I lived with that had the human trafficking case with them was the one helping me when I had the miscarriage.
Wow. So, okay. Now I'm starting to see how characters are fluent. Let me throw this one out. Aside from that, was there ever violence beyond that of beatings taking place in this house?
Not in the second house, but in the first house, yeah.
Okay. Was this between two affiliates?
Yeah, because one of them wasn't listening on a big drug deal they were trying to do.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. So there was illegal dealings going on and there was regulation occurring. Did one of those people disappear?
Yeah.
Okay, whoa. Okay. Nope, that's all we're gonna say. So there was an issue and one of those people disappeared. That's what we're leaving it at. Now, dealing with this situation, was this the cause of certain people to move on to the next location?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all we're talking about. Now, was the same owner as the house that we talked about the oaths made in a owner of these other two houses?
Yeah. That apartment after I left that ex was living in was actually our manager's apartment. That was never his.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. And this is dealing with the ownership. Was there a specific real estate agent that was known for selling the properties to them?
Yeah, I actually don't know who it is. They didn't let me meet that person, but they were always with one person only.
Was he allegedly over the age of 40?
Yeah.
Was he allegedly a man that was Caucasian?
Yeah, actually.
Okay. TheCzarr, I'm gonna say this. TheCzarr is very aware of who he thinks it is and how it ties in, but we're going to leave it at that because that answers a question to a lot of different people connected. And yeah, I probably know who you are, dude. I know you are. Now let me add this in because I did a lot of research before, and I already was looking for a tie-in. And I have another connection sitting dormant where I tie that same real estate agent in with someone else doing something. But that's another story. Now, did this potential agent, did he ever show up to these parties?
Yeah, every once in a while.
Woo! Okay, let me all right, give me a second. Okay, so he showed up to these parties. Did he participate with either women or men?
I don't want to answer that.
So, okay, that's a strange one that I've gotten so far. So, let's say he participated with men. Did he go into a locked door too?
Yeah. That's why I don't want to say anything. It's embarrassing.
So
you put your trust into like anyone in the house, and it sucks because it's like they're literally on this live watching, talking crap, and still lying to all of us.
But here's my thing. Can we say it's safe to say this agent had his legs behind his head?
Yes, he's a butt pirate.
Was he being a pirate with any affiliates as well?
Yes, he you know this.
But this is a man. It's not like even the aura of a womanly or feminine aura. This was a straight up man, right?
They do porn. You think they really care what goes inside them?
Ugh.
Not like putting disrespect towards myself or my girlfriends, because we all do it. But I'm not influencing anybody to do it either. That's our choice. But honestly, you can tell. Like, you can tell.
Queen, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, basically, when it comes down to sexual energy, I put a lot of emphasis on how there's a lot of magic in that. And I've already stated that there's a lot of Crowley magic, root chakra magic, you know, lower frequency magic. And usually that's how people are able to manifest their wildest dreams through quote unquote, I guess you can call it fluid networking is what keeps coming to my mind. And so that's why certain circles are tight, and that's why certain money and different aspects of networking with each other happens, and they like to make sure that nobody else can come in because of these different pacts that they've created.
Now, Zabella, with that said, is it potential knew about any plan that could have been being talked about?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it there, because later, after we finish this live, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna discuss some other things, and I want you to give me your confirmation if it is possible that TheCzarr has chosen the right person to be responsible for making certain moves and giving certain information in a way to get people to a certain spot. I have a real estate agent who I believe to have been indicative of this, and I got who you were. Matter of fact, if you watch my earlier uploads, I told you I know who you are, and only you would have got that. Trust me, if you play back my series, anyone who is anyone should look and be like, oh my gosh, he knows.
Yeah, since they think they know everything, since I wasn't there so cogly. So yeah.
Well, of course we're discussing it, but even on my uploads, honestly, with the questions I'm even asking you, they should say, oh my goodness, he knows. And yeah, I do. So let me slide over. Let's take a break from that, because you guys are nasty.
And Queen. No, sorry to
no, you're good. You're good.
You were right about the chakra. You were right about the low frequencies in the sex chakras. Because that's what we were studying over there. That's what he was teaching us, and Aleister Crowley.
What is out
there? Can you tell them what Aleister Crowley does?
Well, essentially, with Aleister Crowley, his signature saying is "Do what thou wilt." I'm sure you all have seen it. I believe that Jay-Z, one time, funny enough, are very heavily into Crowley magic. I'm not going to say whether if Ja was or not. I have no idea, but I'm going to say this. A lot of rappers, a lot of famous rappers are very, very heavily into
allegedly.
A lot of, well, sure, we can definitely say allegedly. But I mean, if you're looking at all of the successes around them, it kind of, I don't know. But either way, I'm just going to leave it at allegedly. When it comes down to Crowley magic, what he did is that he took the aspects of the African ancestry, but he kind of did it in a way to where it was kind of slightly defiled. Because I state this simply because of the fact that honking your energy is vitally important in Egyptian culture, basically. So when you are orgasming or having sex, you're not supposed to waste your chi or your energy. This is even throughout Buddhist studies, even in Hindu studies, people talk about recycling your chi or being able to chi. But there are others like Crowley who say, no, enjoy your pleasures, waste it, give it to, you know, an idol, or give it to a demon, or give it to a succubus, or give it to an incubus, all of these different energies in order to manifest your wildest desires.
Now, hold on. True or false, though? Prodigy, true or false? For someone doing these things, is there a price to pay or not? True or false?
Oh, you definitely have to pay a price.
Correct. Okay, I want to leave it there. Now, truth and justice in the comments, to each his own. People get into very dark and deep things or anything. It's very common to be offered a scenario like sticking to your beliefs. You can make it without doing it. Well, I would agree and I would disagree. Yes, I agree. There's very dark and deep things to many different scenarios, but are people able to make it without it? That is up for question in what they're looking to make it in. So if I was looking to be a famous assassin, let's just say I'm not, and I was looking to be a famous assassin of some sort. Yeah, there would be certain things that you would have to be in and you would have to do, but there's also no other way around being part of the guild, do things like that if you're not brought into it. You have to be accepted into some things in order to get some resources versus a solo movement. For instance, we could tell X was in a solo movement with the industry, but on another hand, we could tell industries wanted him. So if he did not choose to be a part of something, but over here, he would get it something if he did it, but he chose not to. Is it yes or no? What do y'all think? Would it be impossible for him to do certain things because he did not accept certain aspects of what was offered?
Yeah, that's why we stopped talking, because of certain things, aka people.
Okay.
There was a lot of forced movement. That's what people don't see, you know, like around certain people, you could tell he was not right. You could tell he was drugged up. You could tell.
But truth, justice, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to relay to you. It is about who you know. That is why you can't just do whatever you want when you're solo. There's still a price to pay to do certain things. And yes, you need to naturally stand out. But say right now, okay, let's think of the rap game. How many standout rappers is there?
There's at least like 20 now.
But listen to what I'm saying. Standout rappers that aren't all rapping about violence, drugs, and women. How many are there? There's not many. So, but they're still making a huge following. So they're recycling the fan viewership to build to someone else's likeness. But when someone stands out, it seems like they get antagonized because they're different. So catch to bring people in. Why should that outcast me?
Repeat that last part. I did not hear.
Well, I was just talking. I said just because I may stand out, why should I feel like an outcast? Because my desire is to make it a certain way that may not appeal to everyone. And that's sort of the ideology why it's hard to say that there's many standout rappers, artists, anyone, because no one wants to stand out. Matter of fact, here's my theory. A lot of people that are even major stars at some point only got there because they were willing to do whatever it took, because they were scared to stand on their own. So they followed along someone else's path to do it. Not that they even networked.
Before X, I saw a couple guys do that. And it sucks because they got somewhere, but now they're not happy. And they can't even see their family because of the deals they have. And that sucks.
Well, again, truth, justice, you're wrong, because You said the media isn't pushing the knowledgeable stuff either. I'm pushing the knowledgeable stuff. So we'll get that correct now. That's why I'm different. And if we could talk about the amount of people that came on hating, oh yeah, it's a large amount. But the funny thing is, I know who you are, but I still don't take time to call you out. It's not like I go, oh, you want to talk? Let me bring that photo over here. Oh, you talking? Let me drop that video. I don't do you dirty like that. And if you don't respect that, then you're not respectable ever. How many people would rush to disrespect you if they knew what they knew just because they know they can do it and they could blow you up? How many people? But I've never operated that way. I don't move funny style like y'all do. I don't send threats to a girl. Oh, let me send Zabella this threat because she wants to sit over here and talk. No, I don't sit there like, oh, let me tell her I'm looking for her because she didn't like what I was doing when I was beating and drugging women. I don't think that way. So we can never be the same. I don't need a group of men around me to feel respectable. I don't need to put.
Hold on. Right there. What you just said made me so excited. You know why?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Why would you need a group of guys to defend you?
But listen,
if you're your own man, if you have your own company, if you have so much going on for yourself, why do you need at least 2 different gangs protecting you?
Yeah, I shout the truth and justice. I agree, but I was just interjecting, giving my opinion about what you mean about the media. But yes, Zabella, that is it. That's it. You don't need. Listen. Here's what's crazy. Not one person I know has ever moved that way. If you had a beef with them, they'd show up. Period. They don't need, even if they showed up with people, they don't need it. That's what I never understood. And here's the thing.
What happens every time, though?
What do you mean?
What happens every time that they say they don't need somebody? There's pictures posted with everybody.
Right. No, I wasn't talking about specifically the guys we're talking about, but I was talking about I never seen these characteristics in someone who declared themselves a man. I never seen it, but that's how I knew off the rip there was flexible things. I knew it. I knew you were. That's how I knew. Listen, and these are guys who think they're just hanging around. If there's somebody who's in a position of power that wants a lot of men around them, you better watch that they're not trying to make you their first lady. That's just being real. Because if anybody who needs a group of men around to feel power, how do you know they're not looking at you in a certain way? Like, yeah, this is my dog. Come over here and start kissing on my neck. Like, you don't know these type of things. These are the type of things that go under the radar, and it'll be someone you think, oh, he's the hardest in the world. But he really looking like, there was a rapper that said this, and I can't think of his name. He said, you think, here's exactly paraphrased. He said, you think a dude's looking at you because he's like, yo, I hate that dude. If I see you, I'm gonna rock you. But he's really looking at you like, oh, he look good. Like, he said that very thing. And when he said it, I was like, well, I thought that. Because just the way certain people move. And it's not just about the industry. This is about people who aren't in the industry, people that are in other industries. Now, hold on. Let me get back on track a little bit. And okay, so that was us addressing the girls. We talked about the blackmail. We brought up the real estate agent, who I am almost certain fits. Listen, if you semi-fit the name, I can place you in about 3 different parts of the very instance we've seen going on, to the point where I can almost indicate that if no evidence points to a setup, you point to a setup. So whoever's the mastermind, and I know you're watching, we got your liability. I expect to see him off the books. But we got him. I have a weird sense of humor. I'm sorry. All right, let's get to it. YouTubers. How many YouTubers was talking about this? Now, let me first say, and then I want you guys to talk about it. I started off dealing with this as a YouTuber, and there was particular YouTubers, and it's not the major ones we know, that hit me up I never heard of. And one of them talked very odd, like he was talking about his beliefs in the afterlife, and it was so odd. I just watched him. I didn't even think nothing of it. And I don't remember if I commented or not. The only comment I remember making on his YouTube was when he came on mine. And listen, you can make the fake names. TheCzarr doesn't even have to do a check to look at how you speak. Then I could point out where you spoke somewhere else, and I'm like, it's you. What are you doing? And I don't do that often. I did it in this particular situation because of what he was saying. And I was like, something's not right about this. So I caught him doing that. Then you became a related channel, and it's none of the ones I have as related channels now. Just so we make that clear, none of them. I was literally on his page, not in a video, but on his page verbally, consistently telling him to get off. Matter of fact, I think I went to someone's page like DJ Vlad and told him, join my page, get this guy off. Because this guy was weird. He was weird. Like, I mean, weird. Like, I seen some of his videos. I was like, what is he talking? Get this guy away from me. And eventually, after like 2 months, he left. And that was like last year. And I ain't seen him again on it. But those are the type of interactions from YouTubers I got. Do you guys have any viewpoint on YouTubers that have interacted or spoken on the situation?
They don't care.
And where are you going with that? What's making you make that declaration? Did you hear me? Oh, shit. Okay, hello?
Wow.
Did it kick you off?
How funny.
Okay, I got your back. So what made you make that declaration?
They don't care. Look at what's going on. They're either getting paid to say stuff that's not relevant to his case at all, that has stuff with people he wasn't even with, or never around or something, or it has false allegations, or
Hit that like button coming through. I'm sorry, go ahead.
it has false allegations on things that have happened and that they keep pushing on to him.
Okay, Queen, what's your thought on the other YouTubers talking about it?
As far as my opinion goes, I firmly believe this. Maybe, and a lot of people say this. Anybody that's talking about they're clout chasing or whatever the situation is. In my personal opinion, if they are bringing valid information or asking valid questions and it's thought provoking, I have no problem with it whatsoever. But if people are just making up bull readings, I apologize, bull readings and just basically pulling things out of their behind about things that they have no idea of what they're talking about, I've seen a couple of those, and yes, some of those people are definitely clout chasing, because some people would like to paint this miraculous fairy tale of what happened in his life, and that was very much far from the truth.
Okay.
Like, after he said there wasn't a certain group, everybody just started swarming him and coming around again. And he separated himself from them for a long time. And he was in jail most of the time because of them. So what is your opinion? I gotta ask this because it's on my mind. What is your opinion of somebody who's beating their chest saying, like, calling other people who choose the homosexual lifestyle, calling them the F word and other things and just disrespecting them, but then going behind doors
plugging older man butt that we have out of this real estate agent and getting plugged. What are your thoughts about that? Or do you declare them to be completely straight just because they go to choose to be with a woman after that? And do you think they own the right to disrespect people who have an alternative lifestyle? Any thoughts?
Oh, I mean, I guess I can add. Basically, I would like to say this. Sometimes certain people get into specific situations because of sexual abuse, and particularly around that character, for whatever reason, I feel that strongly. And at the same time, too, I will say that it's kind of like Romans, right? Like, let's look, for instance, at like Saturnalia, you know, the religious holiday that people like to celebrate for Christmas. Now, when you look at Saturnalia, basically it's a bunch of Roman men who like to exchange gifts with each other, but also like to have fornication with, you know, old men, young boys, etc. But they still go home to their wives and beat them or do whatever it is that they do.
Right.
But they don't consider themselves to be homosexual.
Right. Absolutely. But what is your opinion? Do you think that they're in delusion of grandeur?
I feel like what the situation may be is that a lot of people tend to disassociate their hearts with their sex organs. So in their mind, they believe that those two things do not coexist to define their sexuality. But personally, I feel as if that a lot of people are in denial.
Okay, so let's say that is the case. Do you?
Hell yeah.
Well, okay. So if they're in denial, do you think these guys, that's motivation behind why they beat these women is because that's not really what they want? That they're not really looking for a vaginal entry and they're just selflessly hating themselves?
It can be that or stuff that their father taught them, honestly. There's literally always those two answers.
Do you have proof that a father has taught one of them about this?
Most likely.
Well, no, most.
You know, they never really even spoke about family.
Zabella, let me ask you something real quick. Is this real estate agent a father that you know of?
Yeah.
Okay, please don't say nothing else. Because, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. All right. Let's go to the next one. All right. The events leading up to it and around the situation. So the events leading up to this situation and around the situation, what events do you think show the degradation of the environment to cause this to happen to X? Queen, I'll let you go first.
As far as the events that happened around him that led to his demise,
yes.
It's an echelon of again, from starting from a place of how can I say it? Starting from a place of a very elite circle to their rap puppets, down to very intense individuals who do a lot of street work and have a lot of affiliation. So you have to understand that regardless of if it is legal or illegal, they're kind of all in the same bed together. And the reason why I say that is because there was a video to where X actually was pretty upset about something and said that basically, you know, they wanted to just kind of use him for some sort of sexual gratification. He didn't really get into deeper details about it, but he implied that other people wanted to have I guess you can say, homosexual relations. And I can understand why he's definitely not into that, because I'm sorry, I understand Jamaican culture. And it's no offense to gays. It's no offense. He has very much a lot of respect for gays. But at the same time, too, he's not going to let any person try to violate him, whether they perceive themselves to be gay or only want to be homosexual for corporate business.
Okay, hold on real quick, Zabella, before we answer the events leading up to his demise and where you think some stuff happened. Dun dun dun. Truth, justice. I actually know men who do that modern day or have tried it to a certain extent and are like, nah, it's not for me. I was curious now. I'm confirming it's not my thing. It's a complicated due to various reasons, mostly denial, some curiosity, some others issues or abuse. So do these sound like excuses? Or here's my thing. What if they're like, I need it a little once in a while? Or what if they're like, well, I'm going to do this on the side. It's just what I do. What are some of the reasons? Do you think those sounded like excuses? Denial, curiosity, issues, or abuse, Zabella?
I think she's on mute.
Okay. Prodigy?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. What are your thoughts?
Like, I was saying it's a little bit of everything, and because they do drugs as well, so they're really not here. You know, they're on another planet basically. So it leads them to have this mind that they're like a super villain, like a super human or something, you know? And I've seen it myself.
Have you ever seen boo loving between two of the people that did this after the fact?
Yeah.
So you've seen them that they had the intercourse and things, then they were just kind of kissing with each other.
No, not the intercourse, but being really close to each other, yeah.
Like when you say really close, what do you mean?
Not sitting 5 feet away.
But like sitting like right up on each other's butts.
No, but like really close, like shoulder to shoulder.
Interesting. So what's your thoughts, Prodigy?
Okay, ask the question again. I apologize.
What do you think? So according to Truth Justice, do you think the various reasons that is complicated, it could be due to denial, curiosity, some other issues or abuse? Do you think those are excuses, or do you believe that those are legitimate reasoning to justify it?
Okay, well let's break it down like this. Again, we're talking about some heavy occult stuff, so I'm gonna say some heavy occult things. Okay, so when it comes down to this particular industry, whether if it's Masonic, whether if it's through Crowley magic, regardless of what it is, sex magic is the primary force in America. Why? Because when you look at Mount Shasta in California, that is the root chakra. So when you look at Washington, D.C., and then you see that there's a inverted pentagram in the District of Columbia through street signs by LaFont, who actually designed these things. This country was built off of the premise of escaping Christianity, enslaving black men, because they knew that black men were actually truly gods and actually had monolithic, wonderful places and beautiful temples, and said, you know what? Let's bring them here and let's have them build our White House and our platforms for these beautiful columns, and let's make this a new Rome. So with that being said, a lot of people, sure, may be in denial, but most of this is ritualistic. At the same time, too, regardless of if they are afraid or in pleasure, it is still activating the root chakra.
Okay, Zabella, what do you think about the events surrounding or leading up to the X issue?
Which?
Any. Just what are your thoughts surrounding that ideology?
A lot.
So do you think the initial and the home base for plotting, was it these parties?
Yeah. I tell you every time they have a party, it's a meeting. I'm not stupid. I've been around long enough.
So
I really have. And it's embarrassing because they shut me down and made me stay quiet the whole time when I pretty much know everything.
okay. And as we've done this, we have objectively to the objective questions given acknowledgement throughout the 4-part series and 5-part being tomorrow. Let me also say this. I have a lot of respect for hardworking women and women that put together things. Maybe it's because I lost a mother at an early age, so I seen how hard she worked for her kids. And maybe that generally gave me a respect for how women work. I seen how hard she worked. I seen my mother give her shoes off of her feet to someone who didn't have and just went and got another pair because she could. That's the type of things I've seen with women. So I may have a higher respect of things that are going on. So here's what I wanted to ask. What is going on with the fact that a lot of these men find pleasure in abusing and beating these women? Why would that be?
Power.
What power is there in that?
It's a rush to the brain. Yeah.
So what power do you feel in uppercutting a weaker human being? That's unknown to me. I don't understand it. I don't really get what you.
A fetish.
Yeah, I know fetishes
if
of.
I can interject really quick,
yeah,
if you don't mind.
No, you're fine.
I need to add this because a lot of people, like I said, I know from, again, you have to study yourself. I study myself as a Black woman because that's how I present myself. I don't care how light skin I get. I'm going to always be a Black woman, period. So with that being said, I have to study who I am. And when I came down to the truth of realizing how this patriarchal system set this thing up to where Black women are the bottom of the totem pole, or even women in general are the bottom of the totem pole, or even lower class people are the bottom of the totem pole, I realized that we are the ones that have the most power. And the only reason why I say this is because when you are actually looking at human DNA, human ancestry, when you look at Louisa in Belize, or if you look at the original Eve in Africa, there were no men for roughly about a good 400,000 years. So think about how strong that is. Think about how the initial human being on this planet was female. And it's even been stated in the Bible. Even if you want to go the Bible route, it was stated that women were on this planet first, and it was angels that descended from the heavens and impregnated women. So think about this. If you know that females are so-called Earth, as 5%ers like to call them, they are the goddesses. They are the terror of this planet. So in order to attract the things that you want into your life, why wouldn't these men do everything that they can to make a woman orgasm and then take her soul, take her sexual energy in order to manifest whatever it is that they want? But let's not forget, abuse them. And I'm not saying this is what X did. I'm just saying these are probably what other affiliates did. Abuse them to let them know that they're not worth anything, so that way they can attain immortal power.
Okay, understood.
Not even to get them to stay with them, to go through it even worse.
Hit that like button. Stop playing. Now, let me say this real quick. I got to put this out there. Zabella, this is your shine time. Did you take a blood contract with one of the individuals and or managers?
Yes.
Did this contract hold you hostage to the possible reason of why the threats have happened?
Yeah. One of the reasons, yes. That person actually blocked me after following me for no reason. Now I'm receiving threats, and I've seen their car pass around my neighborhood.
Okay, so here's one thing to know, and this is to the public, and I know, would you presume these same people are watching now?
I don't doubt it. If they're threatening me, that means they're not stopping. They're trying to get any little bit of information they can.
Well, I will let you guys know that are affiliated with doing this. There are a higher echelon of individuals that have you in sight. So my fair warning to you would be to cease everything you're doing, because CxxTentacion is here for a reason. The descendant of the same who slain Goliath, I am before you. So I am telling you to play accordingly, to let things be, and to move on with what it is you're doing. We know.
Oh, and just to add a little bit more, I can show up anywhere at any time. I no longer live in a controlled environment. So if anything happens to anyone pertaining to this situation, trust and believe, I will be your worst nightmare.
So I just want to put that out there. I know who you are. I know the guys around you. I know this because
not even the fact that they're threatening and still watching and passing by me.
Discuss this, but I'm aware of the different people that are interacting, that are part of it. I know, because listen, it's to the point I had people that were around you for me and you didn't know it. You didn't know it. That's how easy it was for me. And I recognize people. I told you I'm very sensitive. You had around me that I know don't even live in the area, never been there. I know this. I'm well aware of this. So me understanding it, it's best we call it even. That's all I'm saying. Because I had people around you guys. That's why I knew you were flexible. That's how I knew. Like, I had real ones that looked at you and was like, homie, this dude's flexible. And I said, let him be, because we ain't got time. Listen, if you're bending over, do that. But don't talk bad about people who live that lifestyle, then come on here and use the derogatory name to talk about them. We got that too. And if I showed that to the right people, they know it wouldn't matter that you do that stuff behind the scenes. It's that you badmouth them. So they'll feel some type of way. And that will be terrible. Trust me. Everything's in place for a reason. CxxTentacion's not just moving because it gets views on YouTube. You guys got me confused with someone. We're talking to you. I gave you chances to speak. I've done everything anyone civil and respectable would do to even respect you, knowing what they know about you. Think about that. How do you change that? How more respectable can I be? Let me just show these photos. Let me just get these videos out of here. And to any of the girls that may be watching that participate with any of these guys doing all that, when they're doing all this on the side, it's near impossible to respect you. Because at the end of the day, after seeing this 4-part series, if this doesn't make you think about your life and to either go solo with a company with your talents or move on in life, there is no hope for you. There is no hope, because you become the lowest life form when you let complete pig garbage use you. You become a lower life form. But you're okay with that for a few bucks, right? You're okay with that as long as they don't beat you around the house. Think about it. A man trying to Mike Tyson you. What type of man are we talking about?
A sissy.
No, he's flexible. That's what we're going to use. He's flexible. Them legs can go all the way behind your head. You could grab the bedpost and flip your body up, have it tooted in the air. We know you. Don't act like you don't act like you got a problem with people like that. Or don't let me hear, one better. Don't let me hear you're bullying somebody who lives that way. Because we know you do other things. Don't act like a bully.
They do strange for change.
Don't act like a bully and say, oh, that F word. Oh, what are you, a F word? When you're the one with your butt tooted, holding on to the bedpost while homies doing a splashing frog on you. Stop.
Oh, gosh.
Just stop.
Oh, my God. You just said that.
Yeah. We got it.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be around for my goodness. You see this, you're going to just be like, you won't know what to do with yourself.
Yeah.
I bet we'll hear about an overdose. If those videos drop, somebody's going to be heard about their overdose. Trust me.
You know what's crazy? I've been having dreams about that. That's insane that you just mentioned that. Oh my God.
Listen, I can only tell them the prospective future that they wish for on themselves by doing the things they're doing. So I presume I won't hear nothing else about threats. And she knows she still gets them threats. I can't wait to see them. I can't wait to see them. I cannot wait to see them. And here's the thing. Let me say something real quick because listen, there's a lot of randoms popping up. You give me energy. You give me energy. I said that before.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I know it doesn't work. These guys are trying to talk because it hurts to know that you get your butt banged out for a few bucks. I know. But I'm telling you, I know who you are. I will have your photo and video all over the net.
Do it.
And that's why it doesn't show up. It's not going to show up on live. But there's a guy named Chavez and Bi-Curious. One of your guys hopped in here and his name's Bi-Quarius. What's your name? Bi-Quarius? What does that mean? You came in with the name. I know, guys, but they're hurting. It hurts because they're like, he knows I get banged out. So he's pressing on the thing. He's like, he knows I get hit from behind. I don't care. It's gonna hurt you. I know. And then you try to act hard like, oh, I'm a do this and that because I do splits on a D. I'm gonna do this and that because the real estate agent had me jumping on his slang, like jumping up and down. Like, cut it. Cut it.
He bounced back all right.
Cut it. Cut it. Now, let me ask this question. And we're going to get back into the details because this is very important. No, Alyssa S., that's not what the subject was. It's the fact that there were certain people doing this in a certain way.
Be more flexible than Elastigirl.
Right. And trust me, those threats sound good. Now let me look at this part. There's another part that needs to be understood. Remember we were talking about energy frequencies and other things of that. Where do you think these energy frequencies contend with the situation? So as we know, there were different frequencies going on because we talked about it in music. Now, dealing with these frequencies, we also saw other implications to people that may have been involved. How does this fit the standards of what we know to be applicable situations? Any ideas?
Yeah, I can add in. That's not a problem. When it comes down to certain frequencies, specific behaviors, again, the brain is a very powerful tool. Mm-hmm. And for those that do not know how to use their brain appropriately, will become falter to mental slavery, to which can basically project specific circumstances to happen around them, or unwillingly make them participate in things that they're unaware of. So with that being said, as I stated before, I did a live briefly talking about this not too long ago, and I have said that we are, as human beings, made of 70 to 80% of water. Okay. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, when you hear Josh saying spotlight, moonlight, and why you tripping, get your move right, he's talking about how the moon and how certain planetary effects can actually have an effect on the human body. And when that occurs, not only does that happen, but you're also listening to a mathematical frequency, whether if it's positive or negative. So, for instance, if you're listening to moonlight, it has a very high frequency. It makes you feel good. It triggers certain experiences in your brain that make you feel, good inside, makes you want to dance, makes you reminiscent, but in a very positive way. Uh-huh. When you listen to something like Mob Ties, it's a very low frequency. It sounds just like what the Migos were probably co-writing or doing with Drake. Very low frequency, very negative.
Now, let me ask this when pertaining to it. Is this why some of these artists are the best ever in the game, though? Because that they understand the frequency at which to make music to entertain?
Because they know that the majority of humanity is vibrating on a lower dimension, on the three lower frequencies, or the three chakras. Mm-hmm. So they know that that basically, let's just say, for instance, Beyonce, right?
Yeah.
She could probably definitely do lower chakra frequency music, but her primary chakras are two chakras, are the solar plexus and the sacral chakra, because the sacral chakra governs Virgo. Her ascendant is in Leo. So that puts her in the position of wanting to generate that frequency in order to generate a lot of vibrant fire kind of music. Now, when you are dealing with certain artists that get a lot of different commercial play, think about it. Why is that our environment, we know that we could probably be functioning on free energy, clean water, that could actually generate cars, clean food, but the governments won't allow that to happen because they want people to continue to listen to lower frequencies and stop by at KFC when they get that plug in their ear. So when you're thinking about those things, it's kind of hard because I see it from the standpoint of someone that used to indulge in certain things. And now that I'm kind of coming out of that light, it's like seeing a different perspective, coming from a different perspective and actually saying, okay. So what they're doing is, imagine you are no different than let's just say than film, right? you are no different than the film and the actual movie that you are playing in your life. You are actually a living camera, basically. And so if they can convince you to eat enough gelatin, to eat enough poison, to eat enough different discord frequencies in your body, it's easier for other demonic spirits to manipulate you.
Okay, understood. Here's the thing. See, the funny thing about a lot of these people, even a lot of things, they think czars alone. That's the funniest part. That's why people feel like they can make threats. No. Tag my name in the comments. Say what you got to say. And I could promise you a few things. You could show symbols and stuff. You could say black, N-word. You ain't going to be saying that no more, I promise. I just need certain people to see you say it. And that's the only way that the go-ahead will be. It'll be the worst thing you ever did, I promise. I'm not like these other guys, so go ahead and do it. They're watching. Do it now. Listen, I'm not even gonna listen. Here's how real I am. I want their hating to be a secret. I want the fact they tag things to be a secret. I don't want it to be seen by no one. Tag my name and say it so the right person sees it. You will be sorry. Do it. I'll give him time. It's none of the guy. If you can see your message, it's not you saying it. I can't prevent it, but if it drops my name, I have a way to get around it. So I will make sure it goes through. My homie's going to see it, and then we'll take care of that. We'll take care of that because I got stipulations too, but that's the one stipulation I need to happen. Oh, why y'all stop talking now? They stop talking. Okay, they're hard. Come on. Now, and if you really got a problem, tag my name and say what you want to say. Say F you. Say it. Say it. I move by stipulations like you, except somebody needs to see it specific. And yeah, I'm going to show them after this is over, but I want you to do it openly because you're the man like that. Go ahead. See, they still don't know who I'm working with. So that's where their mistake is. The biggest mistake a person can say is things to be threatening, to say stuff. I'm not under contract with you, bruh. I don't have a contract with you. And the moment I started talking about it, they're still not saying it. Tag my name and say it. No, now pause this. I'm telling you to tag my name and say it. Do it. Do it so I can go. Do it so I can do what I want to do. Do it now. Do it so I can do what I want to do. Why aren't you do it? Okay. You want to play like that? Okay. No worries. I'm going to show this to the right person once we finish, though. See, because I don't play like that. I don't play like that. You're not going to hear nothing from me. You're not going to hear me say your name. You're not going to hear me do none of that. I don't move that way. You guys move that way. I don't move that way. So I'm going to assume I know who it is because as I did, assume I know who she's talking about. Now, on with the questions. We're looking at the energy and frequencies, and that's the type of things we're talking about. We talked about many different aspects. What was the premise? Okay. And that's to Zabella or Queen. Yeah, why wasn't he doing music with other artists normally?
Because they would try to blackmail him or use him.
Well, I'm not going to say every, hold on, no, every artist wasn't doing it. Was he more of a solo flyer, or did he not want to make music with other people for a specific reason?
He didn't want to make music for a specific reason.
The contract Czar's under is not under any contract that you spoke of or anything you know. My thing is deeper. I need certain people to do a specific thing for them to get taken care of a specific way. And I have two of them that I know are here, and they semi did it. One of them semi did it, so I can show that one to someone. They're still here, they don't want to type, that's fine. But one of you did do it, semi, not fully. I gotta check and see if it's, I'll check with my guy. But that's part of what I'm saying. Everybody thinks things like this are done randomly because someone, no, sometimes you're being looked at by other people and they don't even realize it. So that's the thing. It's a mistake. Because that's part of what people do who are weak. And I'll show them to you. I'll have my agent do the checking and we'll get an IP address. That's all. I'll just pull an IP and we'll figure out exactly, because I don't want to do this to someone who it may not be, but being the subjects, I can presume who it is. But TheCzarr don't play like that. TheCzarr don't play like that. And yes, you're the one not fully doing it. I need you to say my name when you say that in order for something to be verified for it. All you have to do is say my name when you say it. And you'll be hard. If you say my name and then say what you're saying after, you will be the king. I'll give you all respect, but you don't want to do it. So we're going to keep going. He don't want to do it. Let's keep going. So here's what I want to say. We were talking about direct affecting issues that were going on.
Wow, this person's talking again.
So with the direct affective issues, I want to know, how has this affected you guys' daily lives? So the instance of someone you were able to listen to normally, how does it affect your life? Now that you do not have that same music around you, the same things going on, what could have prospectively caused the situation?
Jealousy.
Why jealousy?
Because there was a lot of people claiming he was with somebody he wasn't with. There was, oh look, there they are. He was claiming, like, there were people being scandalous and being very false to him and to his respect. They had lack of respect for him. And that's where things were getting haywire before his death. And his death has affected me and so many children and preteens, a lot of people, in a specific way because they suffer with the same things he was suffering with. And I just, from the scandals, from them lying to whoever he was with and who he wasn't with, invading his privacy, that's all something that's really touching. It's personal. It's really personal.
So, Queen, how has this affected your life? What has happened?
Well, officially, I'll say a couple of things. There are times where at his 6-month mark of his passing, even before then, I would wake up every I would probably go to sleep for like a few hours, and then I would wake up and feel his presence. And it's not necessarily that he wants anything. It's just to make sure that I'm good, and just for him to like just chill and relate to someone who is just as telepathic as him. And I need to add a quick note to that too, because someone was questioning, oh, how do you not know that if he's alive or dead? Telepathy does not discriminate. I have to repeat that. Telepathy does not discriminate. So whether if you are in physical form or not, you can still be telepathic. So with that being said,
you know what?
I remember at his 6-month mark, I was in a really, really bad funk because I just kept thinking about, the time back in May to where I saw an article pertaining to him, but I never read the article, but I heard telepathically him say, help me, save me. And he was screaming this at me. And the thing is that I was trying to make sure that I, send a message or something. And that never happened because I was dealing with my own relationship issues. Now, then next thing you know, a month later, he passes, and then he comes to me, and it just made me feel extremely regretful, just and a lot of regret that I couldn't do what I wanted to do, or at least extend some sort of help or tell him it's going to be okay. That really hurt me, and given the fact that I found out another thing too, Ja does not have the same birthday as me. We have 2 different birthdays. He's an Aquarius, I'm a Taurus. But the thing that is very interesting is that we were both born at exactly the same time. So energy has a very powerful sense. We were both born early in the morning. I'm not going to specify what time, but we were both born at the same exact time. So I don't find this to be a mistake. Sometimes things happen in life, and maybe I'm supposed to be here and he feels comfortable telling me things because we come from similar backgrounds. We understand what it's like to be, isolated for being different, than everyone else. Because just because, you have a gift or you're a psychic or whatever the situation may be, it's not necessarily accepted within your own community. And sometimes people just look at you like you're a friggin' circus freak. But when I at that 6-month mark, I need to add one more thing. I recall waking up at 1:23 a.m., going back to sleep, and then waking back up again at 6:18. And I felt like that was his way of saying, I'm okay, I'm with you, it's all right, thank you.
So now I've identified individuals who were saying stuff. They are indicative to the very people who she has allegedly had dealings with. We now know who they both are. Now, what's crazy is I called you guys out earlier, but you guys are so stupid that even though something's happening without saying your names or anything, you tend to show up and give yourself away. So you will be handled accordingly. That's all I can say. I don't have time for haters. I don't have time for that. That hates energy. But you can do this on social media, but you can't take a stance to not do some of the things you do. So being you want to play outside of the law, but then think you can act inside the law, you're going to learn the hard way. Nobody has time for it. And you keep repeating yourself. It doesn't make anything stronger. Trust me. Doesn't make anything stronger. I got what I need. And that's all I needed was you to keep responding. Huh?
Them staying on here shows how much we're bothering.
Well, here's my thing. I don't care about a grown man being bothered by something. That's not my jurisdiction.
No, I laugh at it. It's funny.
But I do know me figuring out exactly who he was a messed up for him. That's messed up. Dog, that's messed up. I did that. Because now I know who you are. That's so messed up. You got the czar confused. That's messed up. Oh, well. Now, here's what I need to know. And this is very important for me to know. These suspects, so one of the suspects is asked for the fact that there is expertise taken and utilized to learn more information. Why would a suspect ask for more expertise? I don't understand that. I don't comprehend that. Why would a suspect, so anyone I've ever known has been included a crime, they'll say I'm not guilty. Why would a suspect ask for more expertise? You get where I'm coming from?
Absolutely. It's a situation to where I feel as if, as I stated before, and I generally made predictions, and I also add in actual news articles that confirm that one of the suspects hired a private investigator to investigate gang affiliation to this particular crime, and just so that way people can see that I'm not playing any games when it comes down to what TheCzarr reveals to me. I know at times I can be very general, and
You're back.
I'm sorry. I have to be mindful of my own protection at the same time too, without having to call certain people out or certain situations out. But you know, that would happen because obviously it's very clear that there's more there are more people involved than what it appears to be.
Now, see, I agree. I will say rules are different everywhere, but I'm from a state where they let it go. So it's in our law that for how we protect ourselves. Within there, is it normal for people to openly walk with their protection out? Because around where I'm at, that's normal. So everyone's on with something. So we're not in a place where we have to hide it or we can't have anything at all. We're different from a lot of other people. What is the situation that stemmed around it to make someone think that, oh, well, let me ask this first. How was one of the suspects on house arrest, but how did he even go out to travel?
That is information that I am completely unaware of. I don't know which suspect was actually on alleged house arrest or
actually, he was on too, Joe.
He was, but the thing is that he was released 2 days before his passing. So he passed within 48 hours of being released on house arrest. So I find that quite ironic, especially given the fact that which a lot of people don't know, but he was planning on traveling west from where he was located. I'm not going to specify where, but he was planning on traveling west, and this is vital information that a lot of people don't know about because only very, very close people know about this situation. But that's the reason why the media wants to make it seem like, oh, that's the reason why you can't stay in your hometown and all of this other stuff. But he knew that there was something serious about to happen, and he was trying to leave for safety.
See, to be real, the TheCzarr is from a mindfulness in a bloodline that has worked towards greatness. So put it this way, something you may not know, my very family and this is fact, on my life, one of my great uncles were some of the first among the fad to sag their pants. So they were doing it from a prison, because if you didn't know, in prison they wasn't giving belts out. So their pants were sagging and they were in the newspaper. So yes, I understand that in someone who is usually a criminal's past, there may be someone they watch. But I would be indicative of this situation. Now, do you think in their life that there was a criminal influence that caused them to direct their attention to living life this way?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
As far as the suspects go, do you think there was a criminal past that was influential to them living life a certain way?
I definitely wouldn't be surprised, given the actual clothing, and when I say clothing, I mean the color of the clothing that certain individuals would wear, which would obviously it would make any man who has suffered from being in a hostile environment to have to join specific activities in order to feel a level of security. So I think that's a very plausible thing.
Okay. So you're saying that was a very plausible thing.
I'm saying that if someone is going through the process of hiring a private investigator to establish more information on potential gang affiliations that they are aware of, obviously they've come from a situation to where that is a normal circumstance and to where they are just taking orders on what needs to be done.
Okay, so you're saying that you believe that someone was taking orders.
Correct.
But you do not know that to be a fact.
That from a telepathic standpoint stands extremely strong with me. But as far as it being released to the general public to get them to believe, no. That has not been confirmed yet.
Okay, so this is still looking at a speculatory situation.
Yes.
Okay, so if we're looking at it that way, if we're looking at it that way, and in this instance, why would someone's life have been effective? Like, why would they go for someone particular, adverse to going for this one person? They could have went for anybody. Why'd they go for this one person?
Well, I don't necessarily know Jimmy Wapo's story, but he also passed the same day that Jose
Wait,
did.
but we're not talking about nobody else's passing. I can tell you from my understanding, his situation was way different. Way different.
Right.
So tell me about your thoughts on why someone would go for Tentacion.
Because he's delivering a completely different message other than gang affiliated activity or going through the industry. Basically, most of these music industry labels, you know, they operate again from a corporate level, but also from a gang affiliated level. And if you have an art to yes,
you're saying how would an industry be gang affiliated? How does that work? I don't understand.
Okay, let's use an example. Let's take a look at Universal Music Group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you're looking at Universal Music Group, they own a plethora plethora of labels, but I'm going to use one label for example. Cash Money, Young Money, right?
Yeah.
Now, who owns Cash Money and Young Money?
Birdman.
Who owns
Birdman and Wayne.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Birdman and Wayne are notoriously known for being blood affiliates.
Notoriously known in music, but we don't have any evidence to say I can tell that they are.
Okay, well, I mean, the man has a freaking 5-star on his tattooed on his head. He wears red all the time.
Come on,
and
that's a persona. I can't.
It may be a persona, but at the same time, too, if you listen to their lyrics, they confirm it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that Lil Wayne's first song is actually him, like, with a bunch of bloods and him talking about it.
Okay.
Actually,
I still gotta say I kind of disagree, because just because someone's wearing the colors, gets a tattoo, that's like me saying, for instance, that's like me saying everybody who had the teardrop tattoo and was dressed a certain way has actually done what it is that they say in their music, when some of them may not have.
the teardrop tattoo is actually deeper than people killing each other.
It's what?
It's deeper than people killing each other.
So explain.
They made somebody, they're somebody's bitch in jail. That's what the teardrop means. Other than that.
Okay, I haven't heard that one, but okay. What proof do you have of knowledge, or where'd you learn this?
I've heard this from people in prison and jail that have gotten out.
Okay. That's
my
a new one.
uncle actually recently is in jail. So
okay, but
he's a former Latin king.
Okay. All right. But still, for me to say that someone off someone because of a certain situation, that's like, I don't know.
He died because of somebody personal. It was jealousy.
Okay, but let's go back to the original question. Why would a suspect ask for expertise? Why would he invite that into a situation?
Because of
you first.
I mean, I still stand by my understanding of gang affiliated activity and the music industry. The only thing that they did was, instead of selling rocks, they sold tracks. So what exactly is the difference? So basically, when it comes down to gang affiliation, and again, it's in their music. And again, they cannot say these things and think that they can just get away with saying, oh, I'm a blood. No, because the Bloods will roll up on you if it's a problem. And they know that there's certain, you can't throw up sets, you can't throw up certain things if you are not initiated into their circle. It's the same thing with, for instance, Trippie Redd, right? His name is Trippie Redd. If you research it, it's already been confirmed that he has blood association. The only reason why he's going at Tekashi 6ix9ine is because of the fact that they both have dirt on each other, but 6ix9ine has been seen wearing certain colors of the adversary, and it makes them feel uncomfortable knowing that now he's blood initiated. They don't really like all that flip-flopping. You are either loyal to the end, and it's the same thing with Cardi. Cardi says that all the time. I'm a blood, and she throws up the 3-6. They don't do that for no reason. They throw that up to let people know, hey, this is what I'm involved in. These are the signs. You look up gang signs, you look up different situations, they're all correlated in the same situation.
Okay, so are we saying that these things tell us undoubtedly that certain people, so if I jumped in all blue and I was throwing Crip signs and I had the tattoos and I had a backing, you're saying that could potentially confirm that I actually am part of what I'm doing?
Well, I'll say it like this. If you head out to, let's just say, East LA, right? You head out to East LA and they basically test your gangster to make sure that you're affiliated, then that is basically up to you to make it out alive and make sure that you are affiliated and to make sure that you know certain secret street codes that a lot of people don't know. And so when it comes down to specific situations related to gang activity, you better be, that's what I'm saying. The thing is that when Job passed, I remember they had a comment, well, you know, shit happens, things happen if you're not about that life. So Job's life, his purpose was, you don't need to be involved in that. All you need is yourself. You are your own person. You are your own being. You don't need to be involved in street activity. You don't need to be involved in things that incriminate you, because he's already taken that path. Now he chose to take the enlightened path.
Okay. Nothing. Just verifying that what I did see is linked to the people, because I'm sending their pictures right over to a certain place to get this handled. But you know how I rock. I don't waste no time with you people making those weird things, saying weird stuff. Y'all know y'all stupid.
You don't. Okay, I read one of the comments. You don't have to kill somebody or shoot somebody to be gang affiliated. You can actually, there's several ways, and it's really twisted. I'm not gonna mention it, but there's a lot of ways to get yourself affiliated. And once you're in, you can't get out unless they beat your ass.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I don't think you gotta jump or shoot somebody to be gang affiliated. Not if you're a made man. But that's what I'm trying to say. I'm well aware that there's many other ways, including the made man theory. So yeah, that the made man theory, that's I know very well of it. And the thing is, it's not just a theory when you are a made man. And that's why I'm very calm with people. You see people send certain threats and they don't know who they're sending them to. That'll be the biggest mistake of your life. Like how you move where you're at, you can't go elsewhere and move like that and then make it out. It's not how it works. There's always a consequence to pay. That's why you have to study the areas and study what's going on before you can move a certain way in many other places. I moved in places. When most people, I've been to Florida. I've been in Florida. Trust me. But the problem is you don't know who it is I know. But you talk like, oh, I'm a tough guy. I do this. Trust me. You ain't what you think you are. I promise that. See, I've done scouted my people. I know who it is that I'm dealing with. I know about them. I know what they did behind closed doors. I know what the people around respect. And I know if they know certain things, you couldn't even be around there. Not with what I have. They're just, it's funny to me. It's funny because a lot of you didn't think before you chose to react a certain way. Listen, what was the last thing I talked about? It was about how males and men, they don't have emotional reactions. Not like that. The anger you use will be your destruction. The things you say to try and be tough or make it, that's your destruction. And you don't even realize it. Listen, you serve what you serve to do your magic and things. My whole aura, my whole ladder I use to climb, different. It's different. And that's why I am different. That's why I move different. I speak different. We ain't the same. And because you don't realize that, I'm sorry for what you're going to make me do. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to apologize right now. I'm sorry. It's not going to work. I'm already in a different stratosphere. Didn't you hear me say that already? And you have no clue. I'm not them little dudes I'm a different size, everything. Don't mistake YouTube. It's different. I'm the czar. You are mistaken. My team is silence. Because if anything goes down, I told them dead silence. Don't say nothing, don't hop in comments, say something. Just look and then go take care of that. I ain't got nothing to say, man. I'm not saying nothing. I ain't doing nothing. I'm speaking about this from a level because I knew someone was rolling with the cops. I knew that. I knew someone was dealing with the cops to get certain stuff silenced. Do you know if certain people know that that was happening? What would happen? That you were dealing with the cops to get stuff covered up and their homies? Oh my goodness, you got their homies tied up or someone's missing in a situation and they don't know. They don't know. But when you come out and speak, when certain people behave a certain way, you give it off. It's too late. You already gave yourself up. You ever see that show Prison Break? Where everybody's working together till they find out that there's treasure on the line, and then one by one they set each other up. Y'all ever seen that? Well, here's the thing. Some of you don't even realize there's treasure on the line for your team. Y'all don't even realize it. And it's only going to become when one of you realize it where things are going to start happening a certain way. You don't even realize it. Treasure's on the line. You already lost. Because you make yourself known. You hop in here like, oh, I know him. Let me say this. You show your guilt. You make truth out of what could have been fake if you behaved a certain way. But being you have certain actions showing up, you're carrying yourself a certain way. And look, I'm sorry ahead of time. I'm sorry, guys. You guys heard me publicly say it. I'm sorry. I'm not responsible for anything that becomes. But I'm just saying you should have stayed quiet. You should have stayed quiet. But moving on. Here's the thing. We see both sides of the fence being played. We're looking at the objection behind it. Do you believe these suspects are guilty for what they're being charged with? Either one of you first.
Yes.
What about you, Queen?
Without a doubt.
Queen?
I personally believe that there are a couple that were definitely involved, and I feel like there is either one or two gentlemen that may be framed in this situation. I kind of feel like those two gentlemen are kind of fillers, and that's just kind of the feeling that I'm getting from that. And I feel like they have done everything that they could to be in accordance with the law, or at least one of them has done what they could to be in accordance with the law. But even family members have said that one of the suspects were framed in this particular situation, that he's an innocent man.
Dang it, I'm objective. I gotta say this. I think the smartest suspect in this situation was Trayvon Newsom. And yes, y'all guys can say what you want. He's the smartest. Rule number one, if you get arrested, you lawyer up, period. He's not. See, what happens is they got somebody in the interrogation room and they broke them. Not that they snitched. They got them in the interrogation room. They play good cop, bad cop. There is no true standard that can defeat this perception. Because when you're placed in a certain situation, they only have a certain amount of time to get you law to support you. But one of them said, I need to go in despite the situation, despite what people think, in order to prove my innocence. This has been a factor that has been known for a long time. This is nothing new. It's sad. My only thing is, oh, go ahead.
No, I'm actually sending you a link right now to show you, because I know that we were talking about Birdman not too long ago, and this was posted on Vlad TV, who is a very popular hip hop vlogger in the industry, and you can actually see his tattoo. It's the same thing with it's no different from dealing with Suge Knight, basically. Sure, Suge Knight was always and always confirmed that he was a blood all the time, all day, every day. But that didn't stop him from signing someone like Snoop Dogg, who is a Crip.
Okay. Now, a small bonus thing. I have someone saying Vlad is the feds for the music industry. I disagree. And let me tell you why. Because even though he did have situations where claims were made, he proved he wasn't. He had others co-sign he wasn't. So it's hard for us to even go that route with it. You get what I'm saying?
A lot of people say that these new hip hop bloggers that we've briefly discussed previous to are a part of the ops as well.
Right.
And now we're looking at certain situations to where these people have had people who have had communication with these bloggers. Now they are either deceased or in jail. So it's kind of interesting.
Okay.
They're all connected through the label.
And about the good cop, bad cops, are they really telling the truth? Most times they don't have solid evidence. So I play good cop, bad cop to direct you to move a certain way so I can look for more evidence. It's something similar to what I do, but these guys are so emotional, they show themselves and they show their motives. And they think they can make threats to anyone like they're going to be okay. No, it doesn't work that way. There's times you're going to learn you make threats in the wrong situation that end up getting you slid under a car, tossed somewhere. And most men don't need groups of people to do it. That's what you mistake. See, the dumbest thing a man ever did was look at a gun and depend on a gun. Because if you can't take someone out with your bare hands, you have no business saying you're a man. I'm just being honest. If you don't have that ability, you shouldn't speak at all. Because that means if you come across the right person and their attack is relentless, especially in self-defense of what they care about, you don't have a clue what's going to happen. I've met people you would not believe are able to do things you could not imagine. And you take it for granted every time. It's not that they're out in these streets. It would be the most civilized individual. But if you approach them, he'd be a captain that teaches military how to fight before they go into combat. Or he'd be someone who works to teach martial arts, holds classes that individual, they'd admit it. They look like an ordinary Joe. But you don't know what you've done until the action starts. And you're like, Well, they ain't even using a weapon, and I'm about to get destroyed. These are the individuals I learned from. These are the networkings I did. So when people do those little things, I tell them to mention my name for some other purposes that I pray they don't find out later, but for just that situation. But my network is powerful. Now I clued you in. I'm aware of one of the powerful, the largest fraternities in the world. So you already lose, because it's not a race to who I could have around you. So that means I could have a nerd walking with his books. Then he just hits you in the head with a book and does whatever else to you. I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I told you to play it well, because listen, I wouldn't talk about this a certain way if I didn't mean it, or if I didn't have the support that wanted me to address it in some sort of way, shape, and fashion, because we saw people of bad character posting things, even the people hiding your name. I was sitting back eating chips, watching you. Didn't even mention your name, never did. Just watching you. Like, why is he saying that? Taking notes. So I just wanted you to be man enough to identify yourself. Like, yeah, I said it. Because everybody's so G. That's why I said that. Just say who you are. I've said this many times, but you guys just want to hide behind the names. Want to say, oh, I'm going to do this. This is a different place. Everybody's defending themselves. Even if something went down and a cop pulled up, you're getting blasted on the spot. A cop, he's not saying where you're from. Show me your hands. He's unloading on you like it was a shooting range. I live in a different place. You're talking about you moving on gates. You ain't got no time. You're getting your whip flipped by the cop. He's pulling out the shotgun. He sees you. Come in like, let me practice what I learned this weekend. It's different. A lot of people they can make life hard as they want by the choice they make. But if you're not living to inspire life, you ain't living at all.
Yep.
See, just my mentality should tell you this is different. It's different. My fraternity, largest in the world, it's different. And I wish you men the luck. The ones that were over here, I wish you the happiest life, because they seen it. I seen you. All I need you to do is confirm who you were. That's all. And even if you don't, I already have an idea. It's good. But that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Why say it and do it if you're not like, I'm such and such? Like, what's wrong with it? What? This is a different place. See, if you haven't been anywhere, if you haven't been traveling around, and you feel safe in them groups you're with, you feel safe having an illegal pistol on you or something, whatever you're carrying. If you ain't got nothing on you, you ain't got nothing. I got my group of guys. I'm with the gang. Till you're alone, and then it's you that needs to stand by yourself. Czar's well aware of this. Life has shown this. It's nothing new. But that's the problem. Because I'm watching a younger generation come up, think they're doing something, and they ain't doing nothing but destroying each other, destroying a legacy, leaving a bunch of kids behind they can never inspire or teach or take care of, and thinking that's cool. Plotting on the next man beside him, plotting to do stuff with his girl, just weird things, and thinking that's authentic. Where has this age gone? Who's raising these boys? That's my question. Who's raising you into manhood to tell you this is okay? And if you're not smart enough to discern, the problem is yours. That's the best way I can educate you. Because if you ain't learned it by now, it's sad, but you probably ain't never going to learn it. Because the generations are only going to get worse by the absent-minded guidance being provided. Thank you, ladies, for rocking with me. Tomorrow, we're going to pick up again. 11 a.m., we're going to get into it. We're going to get things moving forward, and I'm going to have a particularly special guest. Lovely Tashay TV will be joining us tomorrow, and we're going to offer up questions. We're going to have different periods of questioning. And yes, HK beats quickly. Not all of them, because obviously learning myself, but most of them. It is most of them. And the behavior shows so. Period. 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 And anyone with a mind that knows what accomplishment means sees it. There are men speaking death to a dying generation. Males speaking death to a dying generation. That is the worst part of our entire society. Tomorrow, I'm going to get back with these ladies. We're going to discuss it. Thank you for joining. Please give out your social medias and your donation spots.
AngelFace777, and my Instagram is Zabella Temptation.
Okay. You give yours out, Queen.
She left.
Oh, okay. She probably had something she was doing.
Yeah.
Oh, she's back. Hey, Queen, give out your social media information and your cash donation.
Yes, social media, it is Instagram and Cash App. It is Queen Prodigy 369. And again, you can follow me on Twitter and follow me on YouTube at Queen Prodigy. And that should be it. Any donations, it is greatly, truly, greatly appreciated, because we all invest our time into this, and some of us are not monetized as of yet, but I give whatever information I can to help others to find some sort of understanding or to piece some of these puzzles together. And I wanted to put in a little bit of a praise really quick, because I remember when we were having a discussion, and I remember you were mentioning basically having a rook and using specific pawns in order to get to a certain place in this game. And I often will say that keep in mind that the queen can move all across the board wherever she pleases.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think you both represent queens in our day and age, a socialite, that you have your own struggles, but you still bring that queenship to the platform. I appreciate you both for coming through. I know you have some business to take care of, both of you, but tomorrow, quickly, I wanted to get it in. And we're going to have information happening a certain way, so we'll be on point. I appreciate all of you for coming by, watching, even those hating, saying those things. But if you hop in here and you make threats, I get you tagged by the strongest fraternity in the world. You don't want to play those games. Trust me. I'm made man. You got me mistaken with someone, homie. You got me mistaken. You ain't being no gang ties, talking that mess. This is a different type of world when you're connected. And I'm connected with more than anything just doing with just a gang. It's bigger than that. So I have your information. and I'm going to look it up, and I'm going to give you one chance to answer what it is I'm asking you, and then I'm going to make the call. But go ahead, Zabella. Go ahead.
I was going to say their fraternity is full of butt pirates and liars.
I'm not. No, they're not a fraternity. They're a group. When I say fraternity, I get you. When I agree. Okay, I hear where you're coming from. When I say fraternity, I mean there's people I could call that they'd go and beg about their talents to. They'll go in for a deal and they won't walk out. And I'm gonna leave it at that. And I'm not gonna say any more. You could go in there for a deal, but you ain't walking out. Now, let me look at something else real quick. Because one of you guys that were doing it, I already asked you, your best bet would be not to answer, to act like you don't know who I am. But I hope you're emotional when you make, I'm going to just say, I hope you're emotional when you start speaking. I hope you are. It's going to give me a green light. I hope you are. Because I told you, throughout this series, I let people do a lot. But when you come in the chat, you don't offer anything. We're not calling names out. We're not saying things, but you're trying to still talk that stuff there. You're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong place. And I have to show you why you are. Because I don't feel like you're going to respect it unless I show you.
Well, that I'm gonna call like some MI5, MI6 kind of moves.
I'm gonna just say I can make monsters calls, monsters, if I got to. But I'm trying. These are young dudes who are misguided. I'm trying to give you some guidance, but you don't want to accept it because you're allegedly on them pills, off that powder, whatever it is that you're partaking in. You better leave that where you're at. You better leave that where you're at. This is a different type of move. I'm a different type of dude. Understand that. See, you see me civilized and things here, and they're like, oh, that's just a YouTube. Okay. Okay. But I'm going to give him a chance. I already reached out. If he responds, he responds because I told him I'd find his name, and I'll let him give his plight. Because I gave everybody a chance to speak up. They ain't want to speak up when questions were asked, but you want to talk in here under fake names. I already told you about that. I'm tracking it, and I told you about that. I warned you about the fake name game. The fake name game. I warned you about that because I don't move that way. So I'm not accepting someone saying, oh, I'm this and that, and you're moving that way. That's flexible. Nobody's worried about that. But it's okay. I'm going to give them a chance to speak, and then I'm making a couple phone calls. Because I've been had people contacting me about this situation, asking me what they wanted done, what was going on with it. We're going to see what's up with it. Because I'm going to ask you, and I ain't going to be disrespectful. I'm going to just... All right. You guys heard the social media. Go subscribe to their channel. Go over to Queen Prodigy 369 and subscribe. Zabella, call out your YouTube. What is it?
Zabella Minx.
Zabella Minx on YouTube. Go subscribe. Go support her. Go support what she has going on. Go support her future endeavors. Rock with her, everything. And Zabella, I'm gonna ask you some questions about this person because I'm pretty sure I reached out to the right person, and I'm gonna give him one chance. Then I'm going full throttle with what I want to do, what I've been was wanting to do about some of these situations. Guys, go rock with their channel. I'm gonna be back tomorrow. I'm gonna make these phone calls, and I'm gonna just trace these dudes and make their phone calls. Czar's about to just go all the way with it. I can't play around with you. I gotta hand. So I'm gonna see what's up. I'm gonna reach out to you civilly, and we'll go from there. You rocking with the one, the only Czar All Rights Reserved. Grab a drink movement. Grab a drink. The greatest nation since United Nations. See, the funny thing is, never mind. I clue these guys in. They just think it's for play. All rights reserved.